Hey guys, welcome back to Nelson Construction and Renovations.
We're going to give you some tips to help you save money on your home renovation project. We are Greg Nelson
And Dominique Nelson.
We're the owners of Nelson Construction and Renovations in Florida. I've been a Florida state licensed building contractor since 2006. I've been working in construction all my life.
And we love building custom homes and helping homeowners create their dream homes. So we're going to share a few tips from our experience to help you save money on your home renovation.
Number one, get contractor pricing.
Don't buy everything at Home Depot. That would be like buying your groceries at a health food store versus shopping at Costco. You're always going to save money if you shop wholesale.
You can use the internet to find all your local vendors. There's quite a few in most areas, particularly in our area. We have Banding Lumber, Builder's First Choice, Tibbetts, and a list of other lumber suppliers and building construction houses that the general public don't really know about. For drywall supplies, particularly, we use Gator Gypsum in our area, and a lot of people don't know this, but a drywall supply house, it is very customary for, on like a whole order of 50 sheets of drywall and more, for them to come and deliver the material and actually put in each room the sheets that you want in each room. That's part of the service, and usually delivery is free. With a place like Home Depot, they're going to charge you minimally $75 just to deliver it, and they will not bring it inside the building. They'll only leave it at the street.
And if you do have to buy at Home Depot, there are a few tricks that you can use. If you have all of your planning done and you've specified everything in your home, then you can bring your list to the pro desk, and you can actually open up a commercial credit account, give them your list, and they will actually shop your list and find you the best price. However, that does mean that you need to have all your planning done and have everything spec'd out and ready to be ordered.
Generally, Home Depot won't do anything like that on orders that are under $2,000. So assuming you're doing a good sized project, you can get pricing that will compare to some of the larger vendors that we were just speaking about. But you need to make sure that it's a large order. Then the pro desk will take it, and what they do is they bid it out and they shop it out for you, and they can compete. But still, you have to understand, if you're going to buy it at Home Depot, it's going to be dropped off at the curb, or you're going to have to pick it up yourself. So there is quite a bit of labor that's going to be involved with getting the materials off their shelf and into your job.
Now, that brings up one of the most important ways to save money on a construction project, and that is get your planning completed ahead of time and don't change anything when construction is underway.
For instance, if you look here at these sconce lights here behind Dominique, this took a little bit of planning to figure out exactly where these go. We actually specified the mirror that is going to be put between these two. This is a double vanity area here. We specified the mirror with the thickness of the frame, and we specified the actual sconce light that will go on each side of the mirror here. This is the example of completed planning. Incomplete planning would be throwing these up, doing all the wire makeups, getting the inspections, covering this up with drywall, putting up all your tape and your mud, priming it, painting it, putting in your vanity, and then somebody decides to get a different sconce light. And the sconce light, the back plate is too big, and it now goes into the mirror. Now you have to change the mirror, or you have to change the sconce light, or, God help us all, we have to rip the drywall off and relocate these boxes again. That is the epitome of losing money and incomplete planning. So if you want to make a project go nice and smooth and quick and get it done the first time, then pick your lights, pick your mirror, put it in the right spot, and don't change it.
Yeah, that's key. Another example is on one of our projects, there was a designer working with the homeowner, and they had everything spec'd out. We were into construction, and we had drywall up, and we were into finished plumbing, and then the designer and the homeowner walked through and decided, you know what, I think this master bathroom would actually look great with some wall-mounted faucets. Do you mind just changing that for me? Well, that involved pulling off the drywall and completely redoing the plumbing so that the faucets would come out of the wall as opposed to being in different locations. So the change order was considerably higher than she was expecting, because she wasn't thinking with everything behind the wall. So you've got to make sure you think everything through right from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the contractor, your contractor does want to get your job done for you, and the contractor can almost be looked at like the bad guy because he's the one that has to deliver, hey, here's how much extra that's going to cost to do what you want. And if the homeowner is working with a designer that's drawing or showing the dream, then the upset really goes towards the contractor, because the contractor is the one that has to deliver the bad news that, hey, we have to reconfigure all your plumbing in the wall and take the drywall off and put valves behind the above the countertop because you want wall-mounted faucets now. So it's really important to get your planning done and try not to change it.
Yeah, like don't go on Pinterest after you've decided on your sconce lights. Just end it and just let the contractor do his work. You will save yourself so much money and so much time, because in addition to the additional cost, you also have scheduling of subcontractors. So a lot of homeowners will think, oh, well, it's only a day or two to have the plumber come in and switch out all the plumbing. Well, that plumber works for 5 other clients, so he's not necessarily going to show up the next day. So if you make that change, that job's going to go on hold. Maybe we might be able to do a bit of work around it, but that is definitely going to cause delays depending on the plumber's schedule when he can come back and do that change order. So just make sure you're thinking with that.
You delay the plumber, you're going to delay installation of the cabinets, you're going to delay templating the countertops, you're going to delay the inspections, you're going to delay the drywaller, and the ripple effect is intense. And unless you're a seasoned builder and you've been through the drill several times, it's really hard to really get that. But take it from the professionals. We've been doing this for almost 15 years in Florida, and making a change like that just has terrible ripple effects in the whole project. Anything that slows down the project or any kind of incomplete planning really is always the stem of going over budget, going too long or going over budget.
Yep. Number 3, choose high quality materials. Now, this may seem contradictory when we're talking about saving money, but in the long run, this is a sure way to lose money if you select very cheap materials.
Yeah, and the long and short of it is, after analyzing about 1,000 different budgets and building new houses, renovating houses, and then looking back, we do a lot of analyzing of our numbers at the end of a job. And it's pretty much a pattern, unless you're using really expensive, like rare products, that any project, like the budget is about 2/3 of any budget is in your labor. It's the cost to install the materials. The cost of the materials, as far as the sticks and bricks and the mortar and the things that are needed to construct the home overall, is only about 1/3 of the cost of the job. So why compromise on cheaper materials? I mean, hey guys, unless we're building 600 townhomes all at once, I get it. Maybe use something that's a couple dollars a square foot cheaper on the sheathing that you use or something like that, and you save $15,000 or $20,000. But when you're building a custom home or renovating a house for somebody, in the grand scheme of things, you pay an extra $200 or $300 and you get some really nice materials, some really good dry 2x4s. A good example, like on our projects, we don't use oriented strand board for our plywood, our exterior sheathing. It meets building code, it's allowed anywhere in Florida, but I refuse to put it on any of my jobs. And the reason is because it's crap. And it turns to mush when it gets wet. It can sponge up and it can create situations where mold will occur. It'll get wet and then dry, and it'll dry so much after it gets wet that it'll turn into kindling. I've even seen it begin to start on fire in a hot day. So we just won't use it, and it's supposed to be a structural component on any structure. Is your roof sheathing and your wall sheathing is supposed to structurally the envelope of your house. So we only use CDX plywood. It's more per sheet, but it's another $1,000 on a job, as opposed to compromising in the structural integrity of the home. So we don't mess around with those types of things. When it comes to your finishes and your appliances and stuff, yes, you can get really nice appliances and really nice tile, but even look at a house that's 3,000 square foot. We had a customer one time that wanted this really nice marble stone throughout the home, and it was $12.75 a square foot. Well, our designers found something that was made out of porcelain that looked very close. We actually found 2 different products, and it was, I think, $7 or $6.50 a square foot. We saved them thousands of dollars, and we just looked around for something that was comparable. Yeah, it wasn't marble, but it looked just fine. So as long as you're willing to compromise with a couple of things like, you know, on the looks, you can even find really high quality finished materials as well.
Another example is paint. A lot of homeowners will try to go with a cheap paint, but we found that to be very unworkable, and on our projects we only use Benjamin Moore or Sherwin-Williams, because anything, I think a couple projects we tried that because the homeowner was trying to save money, and it just always ended up a disaster. You know, the finish looked terrible, and it just wasn't worth it, and the wall had to be redone anyway. So really it is important to just use high quality materials. Just invest in it, and then you'll just never have to worry about it again. You can enjoy the beauty of your home. Here's a little trick you can use in the kitchen if your budget is really tight, and that is using open shelving instead of cabinets. Now, when you install cabinets, you've got the boxes, you've got the doors, you've got the hardware. There's a lot you can do with that. You can get stock cabinets from Home Depot, you can get semi-custom, you can get custom cabinets, and obviously that all costs material and labor. However, if you're really, really tight, there is, it is trending right now to have open shelving in the kitchen if you're okay with having your crockery and dishware on display. So that is one option if you're really tight on your budget.
The other thing that's cool about open shelving is that, number one, it is kind of a going trend. And number two, you can always add upper cabinets later. So let's say you're just trying to get the job done, you want to move back in, and you know, look, kitchens they tend to like draw a lot of money per square foot. Kitchens and bathrooms can generally always cost a lot more per square foot. And a lot of that does go into the cabinets. And the most cost impacting part of a cabinet really goes into the door. Doors are made of hardwood, maple, cherry, what have you. And there's many different kinds. But if you're okay to just go with some open shelves for the time being, then go ahead and deck out the lower cabinets, get an island in there, put some countertops on it, and then do some open shelves. Maybe a year goes by and you can have your cabinet maker or buy the matching uppers and put them in at that time.
Another place you can save money is on your countertops. A lot of people love marble and granite, but that can definitely be pricey. Concrete countertops, if you're willing to do the ultimate DIY, you can try casting and polishing concrete countertops. However, if you do hire a professional to do concrete countertops, keep in mind that that is a handcrafted, handmade product, so it is going to be pricier. But if you're really trying to save money, then you can go with butcher block, which is trending right now.
Yeah, and just on that note on concrete countertops, a lot of my experience was in the area of architectural precast, and I used to do a lot of slabs, and I used to pour concrete stairs and a lot of stuff like that. And about 6 years ago, I got into doing a lot of concrete countertops in our shop. And we were finding that what we needed to charge in order to make money doing it, it just couldn't compete with your normal solid surface like granite and marble. We were starting around $110 a square foot was what we really needed to charge. And you know, honestly, at the end of the day, it's handmade. It's a piece of art. It tells the story that the family that lives there. You have to be wanting and putting concrete countertops in your house. It creates a very unique feel and look into the project, and you have to go and see what they look like before you would want to do that. But they do absolutely inject a uniqueness into the design of the house. Most of the times when we're doing concrete countertops, we're being asked to design something very custom by a client's designer, and it's usually going in a very, very high-end home, multi-million-dollar homes. If you look in Veranda Magazine or Dwell, I'm going to say 90% of the countertops in those homes are all concrete, but they're done by concrete artisans, and they're total artists. About 4 or 5 years ago, there was only maybe a handful of people in the U.S. that were doing it. Now there's thousands. It is something that you can do on your own as a DIY thing. A really good resource for that would be Fu-Tung Chang out of Seattle. He's one of the authorities in concrete countertops, and Buddy Rhodes out of San Francisco. They were like the pioneers that really started it. You can buy a lot of their products that make it easier, so they take the guesswork out of doing the mixing and stuff like that. Sometimes we're asked to do concrete countertops on our projects. We just don't do them anymore. We do have a couple local people that we subcontract to. But a homeowner can do concrete tops in their own kitchen, and you can actually get a 5,000 PSI mix that's endorsed by Fu Tung Cheng at Home Depot. It's good for a wet cast, poured in place concrete countertop. There's a lot of resources on this and for DIY, and if you guys want to know some more information about concrete countertops, I have tons of information. I've personally poured, I don't know, 50, 60 different concrete countertops with cast sinks, monolithically poured sinks and drain boards, and I've done pressed finishes with veins and all sorts of stuff like that personally, and we'll show you some pictures of those that we've done. But yeah, if you want to save money, the material itself is very inexpensive. The best way to do it is to make the form on your countertops. You can make it, if you do it that way, you can eliminate seams. There's a lot of information about concrete countertops, but if you get a professional to do it, you're definitely going to end up spending more than you would on, it's going to be on top of what you would pay for marble.
Good.
The other thing with concrete countertops too is that you want to really make sure that you research the sealers. That was the biggest issue when it first started coming out, and there's a lot of hybrid sealers right now. Concrete is very porous. I would say it's about 7 to 12% more porous than granite. So you have to use the right kind of sealer, and there's some really good sealers that are on the market now. A good resource for that is Sure-Crete out of Jacksonville.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you want to save money on your countertops, then butcher block is a really good inexpensive way to go. Some people might not want to do butcher block in your entire kitchen, so you could maybe do it on an island or on a section of the countertops. Either way, it will save money. Wood is timeless. It is trending right now, so we would recommend that if you want to save money.
And if you really, really want to save money, just buy a sheet of OSB plywood and stick it on there.
Yes, high quality materials.
And paint it with some Behr paint from Home Depot.
Number 6, saving money on exterior materials.
Yeah, like if you want to use stucco instead of siding, you can generally save money. But again, you can get into higher end finishes in stucco depending on how much profile and detail you want to integrate into it. There's a lot of different vinyl corner beads and casement beads that can create design in the stucco, or features around windows or what have you. There's also different types of finish like Spanish knife and Mediterranean knockdown, as opposed to just a simple float finish. We've done tabby finishes on some houses. That's where it's kind of a white cement and you broadcast shells into it, seashells. That's called tabby. But you're going to save a lot of money if you just stay with a normal sanded floated finish, and that's where you just use a float, sponge float, and you get you hit it at the right time and it kind of pulls some of the sand out. It's very easy for the installer to do that. Put it on top of high ribbed lath or right on top of the block. If you're on top of a wood building, you got to use lath. But you can definitely save money doing stucco as opposed to like cementatious fiber cement finishes, fiber cement siding, or Nichia, Allura, Hardy board. Those are definitely cost more to install, and they cost more for the material. And again, like we said earlier, most of your cost is going to lean on the labor, and it takes a lot more. It takes more skilled labor. Your technician that's needed to install fiber siding or any kind of shingle siding or what have you, he's going to need to be a seasoned carpenter. He's going to be a $25 to a $35 an hour carpenter, and he's going to be reading tape measures, using chop saws. He's doing precision work, as opposed to a stucco crew where you've got 8 block tenders or mason tenders, you know, and assistants, and, you know, one guy technician that knows how to actually do the floating. So you're going to save money in that. Another way you can save money too is on your roofing. If you stay with a nice architectural shingle, that's a decent roof, 15-year, 12-year warranty, as opposed to going with like a tile roof or a barrel tile roof or metal roof. Metal roofs just start going like double the cost of your roof, at least 30–40% higher than what you would pay with architectural shingle. I will tell you, however, stay away from 3-tab. 3-tab roof shingle is an asphalt shingle system. It is the bottom of cheap. And you got a couple years out of one of those roofs. I don't care what anybody says. It's the worst thing to put on your home. Don't ever use a 3-tab roof. It'll meet code, but don't do that. Architectural shingles, you can get really good deals on very decent roofs like that. Another good material to save on is like pavers. If you wanted to go with an actual reclaimed brick, yeah, that's going to look really cool when it's done, but those take a lot of money. Those do cost a lot of money. They're generally right out of Detroit or Chicago, and they take down an old cigar factory and they actually tumble them, and they get the old mortar and the thin set off of them, and they clean them up, and there's quite a bit of work to prepare them to be reinstalled. They do look stellar when they're installed on driveways and on side of houses. But if you wanted to save some money, you could go with a concrete paver, and you can get lots of color options with those too, and they look fine. They just don't look old and cool. Thanks for watching our video. If there's anything else you'd like to know about, just mention it in the comments below.
And don't forget to subscribe.